I've had a number of discussions with various people over the last few months on the topic of the coming Australian Plenary Council. Most people appear overwhelmed by the way that the Council appears to be a vehicle for the progressives to further change the Church in ways which are not necessarily Catholic. And most people seem to think that there is not very much that can be done about it. A number of people or groups have made submissions, and these tend to cover the main issues that people agree are disordered in the Church: Catholic education, liturgical abuses, marriage issues, seminary education, and so on. This is to counter the evidence that there are many submissions being made which are just the opposite, towards married priesthood and the other raft of progressive initiatives that are now rather commonplace in the Church. Into all of this came Archbishop Vigano last year to highlight the extent of homosexuality within the priesthood and the hierarchy. Despite many on both sides of the Church's political spectrum attempting to play down his claims, it's now rather well documented. Randy Engels is amongst one of the many authors who has documented the extent of the problem. Her Right of Sodomy and other publications really outline the extent of the problem in places such as the United States. Here in Australia, Father Kevin Lee's Unholy Silence, which is available as a Kindle book, is rather a complex work from a rather complex author, but it does clearly document the scale of the Australian problem. Despite this, most Australian Catholics tend not to really want to face up to this major issue in the Church. This leads back to the coming plenary and its issues. If there are homosexuals in the priesthood and the hierarchy in Australia, it should come as no surprise that they will be dragging their feet on initiatives such as improving Catholic education or strengthening marriage. So what prospects for success have these initiatives if the leadership in Australia is left in the hands of even a few homosexuals in high places or within the priesthood? Put another way, the core issue for the Church in Australia is not bringing back conventional Catholicism or rosary before Mass, even though these are extremely important things. It is cleansing the priesthood of an element that is not supposed to be there, but whose presence will thwart every initiative for good that could be made. So what can you do about it? I'm asking you to complete a 1-minute survey for the Bonaventure Academy. The survey asks if you are in favour of homosexuality in the priesthood or not. And from the results of the survey, a very simple submission will be made to the Plenary Council. The Council's listening strategy requires evidence of numbers, so any submission will hold weight only in proportion to the numbers that are behind it. If you think that an issue for the Australian Church is ridding its priesthood of homosexuality, then take the survey and forward it to as many as you think are of like mind. It may not change the Church, but without it, this issue will definitely be ignored, and our children and grandchildren may be the worse for it. And all the other initiatives of all of the other useful and positive submissions to the plenary probably will not go anywhere either. So please take the survey. The link to it is in the comments below, also in the emails that are being circulated. I look forward to your response.